Yes, Mark, and here's some information. We finally have the results of what has been a record-setting year, certainly over at Circa, as far as the number of entries made. But I'll start first with a recap, as we have in the past, of the one college and NFL contest. That's the one, the Ultimate Challenge by the Golden Nugget, combines college and pro football selections. Contestants enter with $1,000 entry fee. They select 7 games a week, NFL sides, college sides from basically the entire board, whatever is up at the Golden Nugget at the time that the contest lines are released at approximately 2 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays. This contest attracted 153 total entries, and that is roughly in the range of what they've had the past couple of years. The number of entrants that had a perfect week last week, picking 7-0, there weren't any. 7 of the entries, however, did go 6-1, and 19 of the entries did go 5-2. And you can go to the Golden Nugget Las Vegas website to see the selections each week when they are posted. I believe they're posted either late night Friday or early on Saturday. I'll look into that and see if I can get some more specific information about that. And now we'll go on to the two major contests. Actually, there are three, sponsored by two of the major properties in Las Vegas. That's the longtime standing Westgate Super Contest, and also the Super Contest Gold, which is a $5,000 entry fee, winner take all, and the regular Super Contest, which is a $1,000 entry fee, and that pays 20 places, but there are a multitude of 11 in total in-season contests, so many opportunities to cash without having to have an outstanding 18-week season. Again, this is a contest, but they're identical, the Super Contest and Super Contest Gold. The contestants select 5 plays per week, all NFL sides, no totals. This year, entries were down somewhat. They had about 1,600 last year in the regular Super Contest. They dropped this year, only 1,301 entries. So it's going to be a smaller prize pool that's divided up amongst the top 20 finishers that get paid in this contest. And as a matter of fact, the total for the first place finisher, slightly over $206,000 for the contestant of the 1,301 entries, who ends up having the best record over the 90 selections that will be made over the 18-week NFL season. The structure that the Westgate has used this year, I believe they used it last year as well, is that the guaranteed part of the prize pool comes out for the mini contest. They have 2 9-week contests, 3 6-week contests, and 6 3-week contests. That works out to a little bit over $800,000 in guaranteed money. And the prize pool, which with no rake this year, consists of $1,301,000. After the $810,000 comes out, that's the amount that gets paid out to the top 20 finishers plus ties based upon a percentage. And that percentage works out to just over $206,000 for the winner of this year's contest. As I mentioned, 1,301 entries. We normally take a look at the consensus of the top 5 plays to sort of get a sense of how the field has done over the past week. And opening week with a number of upsets, but the contest had a lot of winners this week at the Super Contest, the main contest. 46 contestants went 5-0, and in fact, the top 7 selections were all winners in the Westgate Super Contest this week. The most popular play this week in the Super Contest, the Cleveland Browns, they were plus 2.5 in their home contest against state rival Cincinnati. And of course, the Browns won that game very comfortably. And there were 498 contestants who were on the Cleveland Browns for the first of the 5 consensus, 7 overall winners. Pittsburgh was close behind. They, of course, pulled a nice little poor effort in their home loss, their one-sided home loss to San Francisco. So that was a losing selection. So I misspoke before. We did have that one loser in there for the top 5 selections. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the 3rd most popular pick, and they pulled the outright upset of the Minnesota Vikings. The Tennessee Titans, +3 against New Orleans. They came back to make it a 1-point game. It's where it ended. So Tennessee covered as the 4th most popular selection. The 5th most popular selection, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they were favored in their home game against in their road game at the Indianapolis Colts. They won by 10, laying a 5-point number to the Colts. The number 7 selection, the New York Jets. Did I do the number 6 here? The number 6 selection, the Philadelphia Eagles. They covered as a slight favorite against the New England Patriots, laying 3.5 in the contest. They won that game by 5 up in Foxborough. Number 7 on Monday night, the New York Jets were able to overcome, at least for this game, the loss of Aaron Rodgers on his 4th snap of the season, his first as a New York Jet. They were a fashionable underdog against the Buffalo Bills, catching 2.5 points. And of course, for most of the folks who watched that game, who stayed up late to see the punt return in overtime, the Jets were an outright winner. And then even after that, the next winner, the Washington Commanders, were the 8th most popular selection, and they failed to cover their 7-point spread in their 20-16 win over Arizona. So I did misspeak. The consensus was 4-1, but of the top 7 selections, 6 of them came through for the Westgate. 46 people, again, a perfect 5-0 to open the season. Did not take a close look at the gold contest this week. Only 92 contestants. That's a little bit more, I believe, than they had last year. I think they had 88 last year with a prize pool of $440,000 to the winner-take-all entry. This year, that's up to $460,000 with 4 additional entries. I'll have more on that contest next week. Finally, we get to what is now the granddaddy of all the contests, and those are the 2 contests sponsored by the Circa Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas. The Circa Millions contest. This is the 5th season, and it has quickly overtaken the Super Contest as the most popular 5-pick contest here in Nevada. They guaranteed a $6 million prize pool split up amongst quarterly contests and the full 18-week season contests. They needed 6,000 entries to fully fund the guarantee portion of that contest. Last year, they also had a $6 million guarantee. They had about $1.5 million, $1.4 million overlay in that contest, as they only had about 4,600 entries. They did not reach the guarantee this season, but a late spurt of entries, 5,274 entries out of the 6,000 needed. So a $726,000 overlay for the Circa Millions contest. That's a record-setting entry, again, about 20% more than they had in their record-setting 2022 season. Here, the top selections were also very successful this week, although they did have, let me just go down. The most popular selection also, the Cleveland Browns. 1,963 of the 5,200 entrants were on the Cleveland Browns, and that was a winning selection. The second most popular selection, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost. They had almost as many, 1,944 entries. So the top 2 selections split. However, when you go down the rest of the field, the number 3 selection was the Jacksonville Jaguars, laying that number at Indianapolis. A little over 1,350 contestants on that one. That was a winning selection. The Atlanta Falcons, the number 4 most popular selection, with just over 1,150 contestants or entries selecting that one. That was a winner. And then their second loser was also the Washington Commanders, who had a little bit over 1,100 selections, and they failed to cover in their win against the Arizona Cardinals. Was not able to tally up the number of perfect entries in the Circa Million, so I'll get that all settled up and provide that information next week. But the contest that everyone wants to know about is the Circa Survivor. That guaranteed an $8 million payday for the winner-take-all. $1,000 entry fee could turn into $8 million, either alone or split with other individuals, if they are the last person to have a live entry in the contest. They needed 8,000, and they blew past that number. 9,267 entries in the Survivor contest. Pretty good week overall, but some significant losses. The most popular selection in the contest, the Washington Commanders, had over 3,500 contestants pick Washington. Remember, in this contest, no point spreads involved. Just pick the straight-up winner of the game, and Washington did win their game against Arizona, so 3,549 entrants specifically advanced. The second most popular selection was the Baltimore Ravens. The most popular selection this week in the Circus Survivor contest, and remember, this is the contest where you just pick the straight up winner, no point spreads involved. And I mentioned 9,267 entries, so a little bit over $9.2 million awaiting the surviving entry, the final survivor in this contest. Most popular entry this week in the contest was the Washington Commanders. 3,549 contestants picked the Commanders to win. They advanced with their home win over Arizona. The second most popular selection this week, the Baltimore Ravens. 2,985 contestants went with the Ravens, who got by the Houston Texans to advance as well. The third most popular selection, however, did not advance, and that was the Minnesota Vikings. 1,044 picked the Vikings, and they were eliminated when they were upset at home by Tampa Bay. And the fourth most popular selection this week was also a home favorite that lost outright, the Seattle Seahawks. 600 contestants exactly, or 600 entries exactly, were on the Seattle Seahawks, and they were eliminated. The fifth most popular selection this past week was the Atlanta Falcons. 349 contestants advanced with Atlanta's win over Carolina. Overall, 1,992 contestants were eliminated this week out of the 9,267 entries, leaving a total of 7,275 entries that advanced to week two. So the field paired by almost uh, about 20% of the field, a little bit right around 20%. Surprisingly, 31 entries did not even submit a pick for week one. That's hard to imagine, but it does happen from time to time. But that's an outstanding number. You would have expected maybe two or three of the entries perhaps didn't get submitted in time, or somehow were not able to be put in. What is interesting, and we won't see numbers like this in future weeks. 30 of the 32 NFL teams had at least two entries select them to win. The two teams that did not, well, the field was smart in avoiding the New York Giants. Nobody selected the New York Giants out of the 9,267 entries. The other team, a little bit of surprise, even though it was a very competitive football game and turned out to be the most exciting, most entertaining game of the week between two evenly matched teams. That's evidenced, if only by the fact that the home team was a 3-point favorite, which basically suggests on a neutral field these teams would be pick 'em. The Miami Dolphins, who came from behind late to beat the Los Angeles Chargers. Two contestants, or I'm sorry, no contestants had the Dolphins compared to 740 contestants so it should be 30 contestants who went with the Chargers over the Dolphins. So in what was a competitively priced game, a competitively played game, Miami was one of only two teams that did not have any support this week as far as winning straight up. I don't think we'll see Miami not receive any respect like they did this week in future weeks. The Dolphins certainly appear to be one of the legitimate contenders in the NFL. And so, with that, I'll send it back to Mark for the next part of our podcast. And next week, we'll have some more information on the contest, including some information on how the listeners and the viewers can view more detailed information on the contest that I cover each week.